All right, so again, I just stopped the tape to cut it into segments and re-roll. And I see, look, we're 20 minutes in, and I'm still on the first page of the syllabus. I am long-winded. I know that. But hey, I'd rather be thorough and make sure you understand where I'm coming from, especially when we don't have class meetings. So that means I have to really elaborate when we get to here. Okay, back to the syllabus. And of course, you can tell I'm filming this in a really expert way by holding my iPad. All right, so get the book, around $100. Most of you through the bookstore will get the 3-hole punch, and you can either use it or just use the e-text. You have to have access for our weekly homework and quiz. Moving on, it's not just going to be one homework and quiz a week either, because as you'll see when we go through the schedule, we're going to cover 2 chapters in most weeks. Here's some more stuff again about the syllabus. The other thing you need for the class is a financial calculator. Financial calculations are part of the class. There's 2 possibilities here, really, for a financial calculator. One is if you have a graphing calculator. If you have a graphing calculator that a lot of you have had from different stuff in your past, like trig or even just some algebra. This is mine, right? This is an old TI-83 Plus, and this is a very common one that a lot of people have. If you got this calculator, it's going to work. I hit the apps button, and then number 1 is finance, and then inside of that, number 1 is TVM solver. That stands for time value money. That'll work. We'll talk about numbers later. That'll work. If you don't want to go out and buy a $70 or $80 or $90 calculator, then you can maybe use the app that's directly on the financial calculator link there at the Pearson website. Or, and of course, but you can't just use that because you're going to need a physical calculator come exam time. The other thing that you can do is get one of these. This is a TI BA2 Plus. This is what the front of the calculator looks like. This is PV, FV, all this stuff. TI means Texas Instruments. There's my puppy again. He hasn't moved much. All right. Take the slide off there. This is the calculator. What makes it a financial calculator is this gray row of buttons where my thumb is. N, I, Y, PV, PMT, and FV. That makes it a financial calculator. You need a calculator that has those things on there. Now, I think Casio makes something, HP makes something, blah, 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 that will work for this, but I don't use those. I use the TI one. So if you got a different kind of calculator, I can probably talk you through getting started, but it might be easier for you, all else equal, to come with something that I have, and that would be a TI, Texas Instruments graphing calculator or financial calculator. All right. That's what you need. You need to spend $100 or so for the access to the website, and possibly a 3-hole punch text or other kind of text if you want. And you got to have a financial calculator. Most of you probably already have something useful. This is all the traditional speak about what the class is all about. I don't think anything on this topic list would surprise you as you see it. I've got there our student learning outcomes. In parentheses, at the end of each student learning outcome, is a section of the Gen Ed curriculum that each of those student learning outcomes is supposed to adhere to or supposed to cover. This class is shifting a little bit in the future. This is the last time, at least for a while, that it's going to be offered as a 3,000 level course. We're going to start offering it most of the time as a 2,000 level Gen Ed course. And to do so, I'm the one kind of in charge of implementing Gen Ed items, and that means assessment stuff like this personal values and critical thinking. Don't get me started on the detail of that. Course grades, that's what the number one thing that people want to talk about the first week in class as I talk through a syllabus is usually my contact information, where my office is and how to get a hold of me. Right there with it is the book. What do I need to have for the class? The book, in this case the website, and any other materials like our financial calculator. And then up there tied with those items is how am I going to get evaluated? Where are the grades coming from? All right, our grades in this class come from really 2 different areas. One is our course exams, which make up the bulk of the credit, and the other one are these online quizzes and homeworks. Okay, now I'll go ahead and skip ahead to the grade assignment here all the way at the end, so I'm skipping a page. As you can see here, most of the credit comes from our exams. This is on page 4 of my syllabus. Exam 1, 2, and 3 are each worth 25% of your overall course grade. 15% of your course grade is your homework average, 10% is your quiz average. Okay, so what do I mean by homework and quiz? When I say homework average and quiz average, I'm talking about your My Finance Lab website, your weekly assignments here. They're due every week, except the weeks where we have exams. Okay. In the assignments page, so there's due homework, take a quiz test. Due homework, these homeworks are going to be 15% of your grade. Okay? This is your view right here. Now, I can't see anything right now because, as I told you earlier, today is Monday the 6th, and none of this is available yet. When you hit due homework right now, you can probably see one if it's next week, the 13th, and then take a quiz. Well, I promise you they're coming, and to prove it to you, okay, I'm going to go over here and use my version of the website. So I'm going to click the instructor stuff here, and I'm going to say, oh, let's look at the let's manage my assignments. Okay. This is your homework list throughout the semester. Now, if you flip to the end of of your syllabus, you'll see all the different chapters we're going to cover. Okay. Chapter 2, Chapter 4, Chapter 3. Now, one weird thing we're going to do is cover Chapter 4 before 3, but that's not an accident. So 2, then 4, then 3, yes, and then it's sequential. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So see, we cover a lot of homeworks. And here's the starting time and ending time. I've got this scheduled out through the entire summer already. So Chapter 2, you got one homework assignment due the first week. You got one homework assignment due the second week. You got one homework assignment due the third week. That's because this week is the intro week, and then our Chapter 4 and Chapter 3 are both big, challenging, long chapters. After that, after the first few weeks of the semester, we're going to start covering 2 chapters at a time. You'll see that on the syllabus as well. So Chapter 5 and 6 homework, those are both due on June the 9th. They're assigned to open up on a Monday at midnight, and they're due the following Sunday at 11:59 p.m. So when it says due, the date, it literally means the last minute of that day, that evening. Okay? You got to get these homeworks done every week. They're only 10 questions long. They're only 10 questions long. They won't take that long to do, but you got to get started a little bit early. You don't want to leave yourself waiting to the last minute because, as you see, by the time we get to the few weeks into the semester, you're going to start having 2 of these every week, every week, every week. After the first few weeks, these are going to be 2 homeworks per week. The other thing with the homeworks, you get multiple attempts at the right answer. You get up to 3 chances per question to get it right. If you get it wrong, you can click on the little tab next to the answer and it'll tell you what you screwed up. There's no excuse to not get very good homework scores throughout the semester. You get multiple chances to do them. They're not that long or challenging. You just stay on top of them. And that's an easy 15% of your grade. 3 chances on each of these. Okay? 3 chances. The quizzes, very similar. So I'm going to go hit quiz, and now I'm going to talk about managing the quiz. Here's my list of quizzes. Q for quiz, this yellow one here. Okay. This also, Chapter 2, then 4, then 3, the first few weeks, and then I start doing 2 quizzes per week. Now, you probably picked up on the fact that this means every week you're going to have homework to do and quizzes to do. The first 3 weeks here will only be 1, but after that, you're going to be doing 2 homeworks and 2 quizzes per week. See that one starting in the 4th row there? Start June 3rd through June 9th, start June 3rd through June 9th. That's 2 separate quizzes. Now, have you pieced it together yet? That means that you're going to have 2 homeworks and 2 quizzes. That's 4 separate online exercises to complete every week, starting this week of June the 3rd. Again, all these start dates are Mondays. All these due dates are Sundays at 11:59 at night. All right. The quizzes you get only 1 chance on, so you got to do your best, and that's it. You won't get to see how you did until after it's over. After the quiz is graded on a Sunday night at 11:59 when it's due, you can go back and see how you did, but you won't know until after the fact. 2 homeworks a week, 2 quizzes a week, starting 3 or 4 weeks in. A lot of stuff to do and keep up on. There are only 10 items, each homework and quiz. So even when you're having 2 of them a week to do, you're talking about 40 questions, but they're not that challenging. They're not that bad. If you stay on top of them, it's a very easy part of your grade. The homework part, I made a higher weight, 15%, just because I'm a nice guy, and I figured I'd put more weight on the part of this where you get 3 cracks and you can really do well. The quizzes, you could screw up, and you could potentially, if you think something goes wrong, you only get 1 chance, so the weight on that is only 10%. All right, that's where they all are. Okay. If I look at, I'm kind of curious here, if I look for myself over here on the assignments tab, I was wondering if I could lay this whole thing out and show you how the whole thing works. I don't know that I can. I probably could if I was cleverer. Point being, there's 34 of these things to do throughout the summer. That can be a lot. I'll pick this up in part 4 in a second.